Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Sara.
And I'm John. Today, we're diving into something super important when it comes to learning English. The importance of listening skills in English.
Oh, this one is so essential. A lot of people focus on speaking or writing, but they forget that listening is the foundation of it all. Without solid listening skills, how can you understand what people are saying to you, right?
Exactly. And let's be real. How many times have you been in a conversation where you understood some words, but completely missed the point? It's frustrating, and we've all been there.
Totally. I remember a time when I was listening to a podcast, and they mentioned this phrase I had never heard before: break the ice. I knew break and ice, but the combination had me confused. It wasn't until I figured out the context that I realized it meant starting a conversation in a friendly way. You see, listening isn't just about hearing the words, it's about understanding them in context.
That's a perfect example. The context is huge. When you're learning English, especially through real-life conversations, understanding the tone, the situation, and even the mood of the speaker is critical. If you're listening to a friend talk about their day and they say, "I had the worst day ever," you know it's not a happy story. But if someone says it with a smile, you might realize they're joking. It's all about interpreting the message as a whole.
Right? And that's why listening is so connected to speaking. If you can't understand how things are said, it's tough to know how to say them yourself.
Exactly. You know, this reminds me of a time I was watching an American TV show, and they used a lot of slang, words like lit and fam. At first, I had no clue what they meant. But after hearing them used in several different situations, it clicked. Lit means something is really good or exciting, and fam refers to close friends or family. If I just read those words without hearing them in context, I probably would have been totally lost.
Great example. That's why, as a learner, you should immerse yourself in the language, whether it's through movies, music, or even social media. For instance, you might listen to an English song and catch a few words at first, but over time, as you hear the song again and again, you start to understand the lyrics better and better. And the next time you hear that phrase in a different conversation, you'll instantly recognize it.
Exactly. And don't forget about accents. English is spoken all around the world, and different accents can sometimes make understanding even more challenging. For example, when I first started listening to British English, I was like, wait, what did they just say? The rhythm is different, and the vocabulary too. But after listening to a few British shows, I started to pick up on their distinct expressions and even their accent.
That's so true. And it's not just about hearing words, it's about the pace and intonation too. English speakers often drop words or speak really quickly, especially in casual conversations. When I was first learning, I noticed how fast people spoke in movies. It's like they were in a race to finish their sentences.
Oh, I know what you mean. But here's the tip. If you're finding it hard to keep up with the pace, try slowing things down. Many YouTube videos, podcasts, and even some apps allow you to adjust the playback speed. Start slow and gradually increase it as you get more comfortable.
I love that. Another great strategy is to shadow what you hear. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speaking and immediately repeat what they say. It's like mirroring their speech. So, if you're watching a YouTube video or a movie, pause it after a sentence and repeat it out loud. It helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and just getting used to the flow of the language. It's like you're becoming the speaker.
I've done this with podcasts. Let's say I hear someone say, "I can't wait for the weekend." I'll pause and repeat it out loud until I get the right tone and pronunciation. You might feel a bit silly at first, but trust me, it works.
It really does. And when you're listening, focus on keywords rather than every single word. For example, in a conversation about travel, you don't need to understand every word like souvenir or adventure, but catch the key ones like flight, trip, airport, or destination. From there, you can pretty much figure out the main point of the conversation.
Yes, and don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand something. If you're listening to a conversation and something confuses you, just ask for clarification. Hey, what do you mean by that? It's totally okay, and it helps your listening too.
Absolutely. One of my favorite tricks is to rewind and listen again. There's no shame in hitting that replay button. I remember watching a TED Talk once, and the speaker had a really fast pace. At first, I missed a few key ideas, but after replaying a couple of times, everything clicked.
That's such a good point. Listening more than once gives you a chance to pick up things you missed earlier. Over time, you'll notice that your brain starts to process English much faster, and you won't need to rewind so often.
Definitely. And let's be honest, learning a language is all about consistency. The more you listen, the easier it gets. Over time, you'll stop translating everything in your head and just get what people are saying in real time.
Exactly. So our top tips today are: immerse yourself in English media, movies, podcasts, songs. Shadow the speakers to practice pronunciation. Focus on context and key words. Rewind and repeat if you miss something. And don't be afraid to ask questions when you don't understand.
That's right. Listening is like a muscle. You've got to exercise it regularly to make it stronger. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to understand, speak, and engage in conversations.
And remember, you don't have to understand everything perfectly right away. Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. So, thanks for tuning in today. We hope these tips help you improve your listening skills and make learning English a little easier.
And remember, practice makes perfect. Keep listening, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.
Until next time, everyone, stay curious and keep practicing.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more.